Hey guys, welcome back to Explain Dice Gaming and welcome to our first Conquest update, or at least my first Conquest update. It's been a couple of weeks and the first subscription delivery has come for me, so that'll be issues 2 and 3 for myself. And I thought I'd show you how my progress has been getting on. So, here are the 3 Space Marine intercessors that we got in our first issue. Now, as you can see, I've painted them up as Blood Ravens instead of the suggested and provided for Ultramarines. I may come to regret this in future issues because I know there are some special characters coming in some issues and they are obviously supposed to be Ultramarines because of the moulding on them, so it's going to be interesting when I get to those. Well, I decided to go for Blood Ravens instead of Ultramarines because I've already got the starting sort of a Blood Ravens force in on the go, and I've always wanted one ever since I started this hobby. Imperial Fists won my heart at the start because when I started playing, because I really wanted to try to challenge myself in painting with the yellow, and I really like the history and the way that they play. Yeah, I've always liked Blood Ravens. The way I've painted them is I used the Warhammer TV painting guide for Blood Ravens that they did when Dawn of War 3 was released last year. So that would be Corn Red for the armour, Angrax Earthshade in the recesses, Xandri Dust and a Shabti Bone in layers for the shoulder pads, Lead Belcher on any parts that I decreed that needed to be metal, black for the weaponry. I've used Caliban Green and Moot Green for eye lenses and purity seals to give a little bit of contrast. I've used third-party pieces for the chapter symbol because I can't freehand a Blood Raven symbol. It's just not happening, and I couldn't find a transfer sheet on Forge World or GW that would do it, so I went third party. I have also used Retributor armor for any of the gold pieces, and I've also based them on Armageddon Dunes and Angrax Essay Wash and then Tyrant Skull on top of that. I really enjoyed painting these guys. I'm quite happy with the way they've turned out. I might go back and tidy them up a little bit more in the future when my skills have improved slightly, because I've not been doing this for 14 years, but your skills are always constantly improving every time you do a model, so maybe in the future. So I'm really happy with those, and I look forward to what's next. But, as I said, let's just slide these guys over to one side. The first subscription issue has been delivered, and in it we get issue 2, the first Death Guard issue, in which you get 3 Death Guard Marines, 6 dice, and a pot of Death Guard Green. In the issue you'll learn about the Death Guard. Mortarion is briefly described, the Plague Planets, how their spaceships are things. You get some really cool artwork of a Nurgle-ified battle cruiser. More talking about the Death Guard, what their armour is built up like we'd had with the Tacticus armour in the thing. So the lore section is all about Death Guard this issue, and it's really nice. How to assemble your miniatures guides and the instructions, the painting tips, you know, thinning your paints and how much to put on a brush and that sort of stuff. How to paint up your Marines, which is going to be very simple, of, you know, similar to how the first issue was, base coat them in the primary colour, which is Death Guard Green, do gold bits and do some black bits on like the guns and stuff. But then you get some nice basic things. And then we get to the meat of the issue. Not that the lore section wasn't already quite meaty for Artwork series. How to play a game. Now this issue only covers the movement phase and the shooting phase, including how to do wounding and such. But it gives you a scenario that was first described in the first issue where a small squad of Death Guard have invaded a Space Marine starship, an Ultramarine ship. So they have very cunningly provided you with a playmat to fight out this battle. And on one side it's plain, if you want to drop some terrain for yourself. But for your first couple of games, you'll probably be using this side. This side has some terrain already spaced out, and they've got some descriptions in the rules of how these interact with your miniatures. And also, along one side, a cut-outable range ruler and objective tokens. You can see that? Yeah. Objective tokens and range rulers, one for each player. Each end of the map has got 3 spaces for starting positions for your miniatures. So for the first couple of games, it's nice and easy, quick setup. So I'll put that to one side. Just put those over there. And so yeah, it's a simple, easy to read way of learning the first couple of phases of a game. And then describing the interesting special guns that some of the models have, like some of the special rules that the guns have, like the Intercessor Space Marines bolt rifles with rapid fire, and the light launcher, and the plasma gun that the Death Guard are carrying. So that's issue 2. That's going to be, when I get that a proper read later, that will be very interesting to go through. In issue 3, we get our first reinforcements for the Space Marines, and they, come here, are Space Marine Reavers. These are the close support combat troops of the Primera Space Marines. They stealth up, near the enemy and then burst out with a lightning assault with combat blades and heavy bolt pistols wheeling around. In the pack of the first full price issue, so this was $7.99, but in the first full price issue you get 3 Reaver Space Marines and a pot of lead belcher. I still believe these are both of these are the similar kits to the easy to build range that you can buy at your GW or hobby store, and they go for about £10 each. So even though now we're up into full price of $7.99, you're still saving money, and you're getting a free pot of paint, or free pot of paint and some dice and a playing board in this case. And in this issue, very similar format, we get some lore on the Space Marine Reavers, some stuff about their armour and their equipment, because their armour is basically a stripped down version of the Tactica's armour. Slightly different, but similar. We also get the description of an engagement between some Reaver Space Marines and some Necrons on a planet called Tarava. So that's a little bit of expanding lore for everyone. So that now, it's not just Death Guard versus Space Marines in Warhammer 40,000, there's also these Necron things and other planets. You can create your own stories. And we're into the building your Space Marine Reavers and painting your Space Marine Reavers, adding in silver to the standard 3 colours of blue, black and gold. And we also get an update page for our previous 2 issues on how to use lead belcher to improve those models. We also get into, in our tutorial section today, we also get how to do close combat. So, you know, charging and overwatch and adjusting, you know, the what you need to do to resolve an assault and a mission with your Reavers versus the 3 Death Guards that you had last time instead of the 3 Intercessors. So it's all very interesting, you know, how the arsenal works, you know, power fists and plague knives and close combat and combat knives, so all the close combat weapons. And we also get an advert for subscribing, and we get in the next few issues, which is going to be some Poxwalkers and our first character. Now this is, as I mentioned, in issue 5 we get our first character, Lieutenant Calcius, who is obviously a very, looks great, the model does look great, but he's obviously a very ultramarine hero. So I'm going to have to work out what I'm going to do about that, because obviously I'm painting these guys as Blood Ravens. I mean, the Blood Ravens do have a reputation for acquiring relics of other chapters from Dawn of War 2, but that's mostly because they wanted to have a variety of interesting named loot in the game. So a pistol from the Blood Ravens, a chainsword from the Space Wolves, you know. Anyway. But because this is also the first issue that was delivered with for a subscription, you get all your first subscription prize, which is a pot of plastic glue, pair of nippers, and a pocket-sized thin mold line remover, slightly thinner than the the one that you can buy in Games Workshop stores. So it's probably quite useful for smaller areas where you can't quite get where the tool itself is slightly too thick to get the last little bits, like under arms and stuff. But for a first, selling a toolkit with your first issue, brilliant. It's really nice. You've got everything you need to start making start assembling your models. You've got everything you need to start painting your models now. And so far, I believe if you subscribe, issue 3 was free. Yeah, I think issue 3 is free if you subscribe. So far, I've got all of this stuff, including the intercessors and the 3 paints and all the bits from the first issue for £6.98. Yeah, £6.98 for the first 3 issues, really. And a subscription, so you get a toolkit. I mean, you've got at least £10 worth of paint and glue. You know, you've got more than £10 worth of paint. There's about 20 quid's worth of tools and 30 quid's worth of models for less than a tenner. This series is going to be awesome. It's going to be great to build up these armies. I've really got to now find a Death Guard codex and start looking at some of the alternative schemes, because whilst I am really tempted to paint them up in the traditional Death Guard colours, I want to see what else is out there, because obviously I've done an alternative scheme for the Space Marines with Blood Ravens. I want to see what else is interesting out there. I'm kind of leaning towards like a blue Nurgle, but I'll see what's out there. But thank you very much for joining me. Looking forward to sitting down with you again in a month or so's time, when I've got these two sets finished and the next subscription bundle turns up. Thank you for joining me. I'm Andy. This is Exploding Dice Gaming. Catch you next time.